everybody, and welcome to Final Play Sports Wrap. I'm your host, Pete Lubar, and today we're talking Mountain West Football Wrap Up. It is week 8 now, heading into week 9. Last week, if you remember, I commented on how surprised I was by CSU's victory over Fresno State when they looked like they had died for the season. They were done. And this week, CSU made it official by firing head coach Jay Norvell. Jay had been on the hot seat for the slow start to the season, and CSU's impossibly unrealistic expectations of what kind of football program they have. Jay was 18-26 at CSU, but had an 8-5 record in 2024 and took CSU to a bowl game. However, they were just 2-5 this year. So if you're not following at home, CSU got trounced by Hawaii 31-19, ending speculation that Norvell would be fired. Mika Alejado had 301 yards passing and 3 TDs for the Rainbow Warriors, and Jackson Harris had 109 yards receiving and 2 TDs on just 5 catches. CSU was outstatted offensively, 435 yards to 261, and time of possession 35-25. So Jay Norvell is gone. CSU is looking for a new coach on their way to the Pac 8.5, and I guess that's how it goes in college football these days. San Jose State traveled to Logan to face Utah State. The Aggies came out victorious on Friday night, 30-25. Sophomore Anthony Garcia had 3 catches for 121 yards and 1 TD for the Aggies. The game was close throughout as Utah State had a slim 10-9 lead at half and 24-19 heading into the fourth quarter. Both quarterbacks played well. Bryson Barnes had 326 yards and 1 TD and ran for 54 yards and 1 TD. And for the Aggies, while Walker Eggett had 340 yards and 2 TDs for the Spartans. On Saturday, New Mexico held Nevada off to get their first Mountain West victory. The Lobos won 24-22, and honestly, the Lobos looked like they were trying to give the game away. The Lobos lost 2 fumbles and had 8 penalties during the game. Lobos got out to a 14-3 lead before the first of the fumbles allowed Nevada to make it 14-12 at half. The score was 24-19 heading into the fourth quarter, and the Lobos needed a tremendous defensive effort on the Wolfpack's last drive to seal the victory. UNM outgained Nevada 348-257. Air Force also got their first conference win, beating Wyoming 34-21 in Colorado Springs. This was a tight affair as the two teams were tied at 14 heading into the fourth. Air Force turned back-to-back Wyoming interceptions into 10 points and limited Wyoming to a late touchdown to get the win. Quarterback Liam Sarka had 141 yards and 1 TD rushing for the Falcons. And finally, in the big match of the day, Boise State reasserted its dominance over UNLV with a 56-31 butt-kicking of the Rebels. Maddox Masson had 253 yards passing and 4 TDs. Dylan Riley had 201 yards rushing and 1 TD. The game was actually close at halftime, with Boise holding a 28-24 lead. However, the Rebels gave up 21 unanswered points in the third, 2 on long sustained drives and 1 on a pick 6. The Rebels' defense was torched for 558 yards of total offense. If you remember, Air Force did that to them last week, so it's the second time in 2 weeks they've given up over 500 yards, and in this case, 294 yards on the ground. They may, in fact, be the worst 6-1 team in the nation. So if we look at the Mountain West standings now, Boise has surged ahead of everyone with a 3-0 record. San Diego State is 2-0. Hawaii 3-1. UNLV 2-1. Fresno State 2-1. And Utah State 2-1. So you got a number of teams that are right there could win it, but we'll talk about what that looks like here in a minute. And then you've got a whole bunch of teams at 1 and 2. You've got Wyoming, San Jose State, New Mexico, and Colorado State at 1 and 2. And Air Force is 1 and 4. Nevada is 0 and 3, and 1 and 6 on the season. If we look at the games next week, there's only 4 games on the schedule. Boise on Friday takes their 5 and 2 record and 3 and 0 conference record to Nevada. Nevada is 1 and 6 and 0 and 3. They are 21.5 dogs. I would suggest you bet on Boise State. Nevada is not a good team, and I think Boise will win that game easily. On Saturday, you have Utah State traveling to New Mexico in a battle of 4 and 3 teams. New Mexico is a 2.5 point favorite. It will depend on whether New Mexico's defense can stop Utah State. If they can, New Mexico probably will win. If they can't, then it's going to be a very long day for New Mexico. The secondary is not good, and Bryson Barnes is a very good two-way dual threat quarterback. So going to be a tough game for New Mexico. They are favored, but I'm not sure who will win that game. I'm probably going to go with New Mexico, but they're going to have to play a lot better than they did the last 2-3 weeks. San Diego State is 5 and 1 and 2 and 0. They are at Fresno State. Both teams coming off a bye. Fresno State is 5 and 2 and 2 and 1 in conference. San Diego State is actually the favorite, a 3.5 point favorite. San Diego State's a really interesting team because they've really played the easiest part of their schedule already. And I think Fresno State may just take them at home. And then Colorado State with new coach at 2 and 5, 1 and 2, travels up to Wyoming in the border war. Wyoming is 3 and 4, 1 and 2 in conference. Wyoming is a 6.5 favorite. I'm not sure about that one either. Well, it's going to be a tough game. I would take Wyoming, I guess, if I had to bet on that game. I'd probably take the over. From a bye standpoint, Air Force, Hawaii, UNLV, and San Jose State are all on bye this week, so short schedule for the Mountain West. If we sort of look ahead at the teams that are sort of one loss or better and look at their schedule, you can sort of get to a point where you might be able to predict who's going to be in the conference championship game. Boise State has Fresno State at home, at San Diego State, who's undefeated. Then they have CSU at home, and then they go to Utah State. I'd probably suggest that they're going to go 4-0 in those games, maybe 3-1. So at worst case, they're going to be 6-1 at the time that they get to the end of the season. San Diego State plays Wyoming at Hawaii, which could be a loss for them. Boise, which could be a loss for them. And then they play San Jose State at home and then at New Mexico. So San Jose State probably will pick up 2 to 3 more losses before the season's over. Hawaii is at San Diego State, so that may be a loss for them. And then you've got UNLV at UNLV. And then you have Wyoming, so they only have 3 games left in conference, and they're 3-1. I suspect they'll lose either the SDSU game or the UNLV game, so they're going to have 2 losses at the end of the season. UNLV has UNM. Then they have at CSU, they have Utah State, they have Hawaii, and they have at Nevada. So UNLV could run the table, which would get them to, I guess that would make them 6-1 as well. They may lose to Hawaii, but that is probably the only game there that they would lose. Maybe UNM. UNLV has no defense. So if you kind of looking at whether they could stop a New Mexico. I think it might be a really close game. I guess we'll find out next week, 2 weeks from now. Fresno State has at Boise, probably a loss. Wyoming at home. Utah State at home. And then at San Jose State. My guess is Fresno State's going to lose 2 games. So they're going to end up 5-2. And Utah State's the last team on that list. They have Nevada, which they will win. But at UNLV, which they probably will lose. And they've got at Fresno State, which they may lose. And they have Boise at home, which they may lose. So Utah State probably will fall to the bottom of the conference standings, more like 3 and 4, something like that. So that is my wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube page. It costs you nothing, but it does help me out. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you. Bye.